Hello, everyone. Casper and Cheryl here with IAM Love Builders. Hey, happy holiday season. We have put together some very special programming just for you during this time.
So be sure to tune in and check us out.
Yep.
And we'll see you in the new year.
All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Winning with Love with Casper and Cheryl Stockham. We are here with our wonderful guests, Joel and Annalie Vineyard, and they are telling us their story.
So you guys were going to talk about the dating process. Now, with Cheryl and I, our dating process was seriously condensed.
Short.
It was short. We were getting old. We had time for all that, right? So we wanted to condense that. But how was your dating process?
Well, my dating process, I thought it was going to be 3 or 4 or 5 years. The wait, actually, because I'm like, no, I'm being my best version. I'm finishing up the dreams that were taken away from me at such a young age. And I want to be my best. So he said, no, it's just going to be a couple of months. Eventually, how this started, going.
Yeah.
But after we met the first time, we ended up having another date. But in between,
I was out of town for 2 weeks.
yes,
I'd gone on a trip for 2 weeks. And so we had that first date. And then that was just, communicating by phone and talking or texting a lot during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And it built on, we started out at a very different place, right? With the interrogation, but it ended very nicely. It wasn't, it ended nicely and me being very sweetly, me being very interested in her as well. And so it was kind of interesting to be gone for a while and not immediately get back together. I think that might have been okay. We've been good the way it went. And so, it was interesting. And so by the time I got back into town, I couldn't wait to go see her and have the next date.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun. And that from there, it just accelerated.
Now, you mentioned some of your troubled past and stuff. So we want to get into your book because Cheryl has read it from cover to cover. I have skimmed through it, to be honest. But she was riveted by it. She read it like 2 days, right? She was riveted by it. There's a lot of things in your book that we want to kind of unpack. So we have some time to do that. So tell us about your book.
well, my book that I actually wrote in both languages because I'm a fluent speaker in Spanish as well. It's A Legacy of Love. In Spanish, it's Un Legado de Amor, and also a workbook to help women be their best version.
Right.
My book, my story, it's actually a true story, which I mentioned in my book, Baby Steps. It was not easy for me to reveal my own story because it also ties into my mom and it ties to what she had to go through and she never got to see the light. But at the same time, knowing that I did, I feel that we both did. And it's a very inspirational story. It's a very eye-opening for everyone that would see this. This happens, and it does not only happen in the Hispanic culture. I believe that it happens in
Every
different
culture.
cultures.
Yes.
These things. I lose my mother at 15, a couple of weeks shy to be 15. She passes away out of the country. She was an interpreter and translator for General Motors, which I ended up becoming also that, having a degree in the same area. And yes, and losing her, she was a mother, she was our father. My parents had already gotten a divorce. She had already remarried, and she passes away, giving birth to my baby brother. She never made it. I got to see her how she bled to death. It was too much. It's very traumatizing.
And you were 15 at the time?
I was a couple of weeks shy to being 15.
Okay.
I'm the oldest, and I have to take over, her passing away, funeral arrangements, all that. Just a little girl that was about to be 15. In our culture, 15 is a quinceañera. It's like sweet 16.
Yes.
Before that. And I didn't get to have that. All my dreams were shattered. I ended up living with my grandparents on my mom's side, which were extremely controlling, extremely manipulative, extremely abusive. I was not allowed to share what was going on behind doors, which my book also says, finding the courage to finally speak out, because I didn't have a voice. And I realized that I always wanted to have a voice. They didn't allow me to have my voice. They took away my dreams. They ended up marrying me against my will to Mexico, which I love Mexico, but I was not born in Mexico.
Oh.
And my parents were, but it was not the desires of my heart. They overruled my desires.
Mm-hmm.
They did the same thing to my mother. And I eventually figured that out because I picked up on a lot of things that I knew that were wrong. I always wanted to go to college, which all that did happen, but it was delayed and taken away. I ended up going through horrendous mother-in-law, very abusive, controlling, that would force me. She wanted me to have a child, which I had a very hard time becoming pregnant. Oh my gosh. I lose my first unborn child at 5 months along, out of the country, without my mother because she had passed away, without my father because my father was not around at the time. It was horrible. I didn't have who to go, but I had already remembered what my mama would tell me: go to Christ. So I will help you.
Yes.
Because she taught me that at a very young age. I would not be here if it wasn't because of what she taught me. Going through all that, I end up eventually going through divorce because I knew that that was not a marriage. A friend of mine was the one that said, Annalie, you cannot stay like that in our culture.
Yeah.
That's the way that we were brought up. But you know what? That was not established the way God designed a marriage.
When her grandparents left her there, they drove her down, more or less kidnapped her to Mexico, against her will, guarded the bathrooms, made sure she couldn't escape, didn't let her have access to a phone. There wasn't cell phones really at that point for most people. And, they really, drove her down in that fashion, were there to make her get married and then left her there.
Oh, wow.
And,
Yes.
and then at that point she didn't have a voice and hadn't had the ability to have her own will. And so she decided she would try to do what she was supposed to do, which was to be married to this guy that she had known, but never cared for that much. There was nothing.
There was no love there.
Yes. Exactly.
But yet, after leave her behind there in Mexico, she tried to make it work the best she could, and then the story continues from there. But
Well, we're going to take another break, but we're going to come around to the other side of this because there's a lot of positive that has come from all those tragedies.
Yeah.
You've shined out of that and come out of that in a great way. You have a great marriage now. We're going to be talking about all that on the other side of this break. You're listening to you're watching Win It With Love. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Winning with Love with your hosts, Casper and Cheryl Stockham. We're so excited about our guests, Joel and Annalie, and the story that Annalie is telling us about her life is just been riveting. I read her book and I cried. So, Annalie, continue on. Tell us some more about the book.
Sure, it's not an easy story. But at the same time, I'm not there anymore, like I shared.
Yeah.
God has been very graceful, amazing. That's why I'm here. So now through my story, I want to impact ladies, especially ladies, also men, letting them know that even though they might not have a mother, whether she's passed or not, that as long as they have the Lord, which we all do, it is well, and we will be able to make it through. Another thing, I was having a hard time as I was writing this because I never want to be seen as, I'm sorry for her. I feel some pity for her. You know what? No, I'm a fighter. And if it wasn't because of that, I would not be here today. So with that said, I went through so many things. I lost my first unborn child 5 months along. I was never able to see my child. I still really don't know. I still question myself every day.
Yeah.
But knowing that someday I will see him,
Amen.
I had a very hard time overcoming that.
Yes.
It was just too much for me. And there was a moment there that I didn't want to continue living, but I knew that God was the one to go to.
Amen.
And I cried out to him. I said, Lord, I think you've taken everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
You've taken my mother. You've taken my unborn child. Now it's time for me to go home too.
me.
In the marriage that she was put into, there was a real bright light, and that was the father-in-law. And when she had lost the baby and really lost the will to live, he would sit with her every day.
Wow.
That could encourage her.
Amen.
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 Yes.
It's like God sent somebody.
Yes, he would always send me angels, send me people. And he always was so connected to me because he was also an orphan. He lost his both parents, which I just had lost my mother, but my dad at the time was very absent. And being a female, he always wanted me to be a male,
Yeah.
which after myself, he only ended up having boys.
Yeah.
So he was not so happy. In our culture, they're always expecting the firstborn to be a male, not a female. So that was like a complete rejection, which now it's changed completely.
Yes.
But it took several years for that to happen.
One thing about the controlling and abusive grandparents, and the truth in the book is that it had to all be kept secret. So everybody back home, including her own father and other relatives, thought she went down there to get married on purpose. That's what she wanted. They did not know the story, and she did not tell the truth. And eventually, the friend figured it out.
Yes.
Right, the one that probably
Yes.
convinced you to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
divorced because you never really were married. Honestly, not really. And so then, but she hadn't been totally healed at that point, and still didn't have a voice, and still was able to be controlled. And that's really how the second marriage for her happened. That the wrong guy showed up and took advantage of where she was at and who she was not yet, which is who she is now. Right? She had
Right.
found herself in that way in her own courage, and luckily that didn't last terribly long for her. But it was a tough situation.
Yes.
And it was that breaking out of that second marriage that she went and got healing and therapy and more of God in her life, and really
Amen.
found herself.
Yes.
And then, lucky for me, I found her after that as well. And so,
As a man, how did it affect you to have a woman to be so genuine and sincere
sure.
and share this with you?
Well, it affected me greatly, I'll say that. But we found out I had already asked her to marry me, and so we were engaged. And she decided to tell you really about, or maybe she told me through that story.
Yeah.
And so very emotional, of course, for me as well to hear that. But that's when it happened. And so the appreciation for the strength that she has in her character and her love of God is obviously what I love about that the most.
So when I was sharing this, it was very difficult for me. It was
Yes.
so painful for me because I was going back and I had to, remember all those things and share that. And I'm like, I don't want him to feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
I'm a fighter. I don't like people to feel sorry. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
That's not my character.
Yeah.
I'm very private. So I felt like, I don't want to go there because I've always been very private. But it allowed me to be set free in a way that he was willing to receive it. And you're right. It just could not be just any ordinary man.
Right.
Because it had to be a man that loved the Lord. So if he loved the Lord and I was being extremely genuine and open, which I've always been, then he would be able to recognize that and he would be the right one.
Well, we're going to hear more from you guys because you'll be back with us. We're going to be playing the game as well. You guys are participating in that. We're excited to have you, this couple with us. You're watching Winning with Love, and that's their book right there. So we're excited to have you guys, and we'll see you on our next show.
Quinn and West Womack. Welcome.
Yes.
Thank you for having us. We're so glad that you're with us today. And we want to start out. We're going to jump right in. I want to hear all the dirt, West. Don't leave anything out. So tell us your story.
Okay.
You first.
Okay. Well, actually, we've been married. It'll be 38 years, November the 28th, and we kind of have a dual situation because we got married on the 28th of November. And it was sort of a rush thing because we met and I had to have a surgical procedure, had to have a hysterectomy. And at that time, I was working in the mall making $4.25 an hour, and he was working at Union Carbide. He had a great job. And so he said, he told me he loved me after 3 weeks.
Oh, wow. So that's your
Ask him about that. Ask him about that. Ask him about
will.
Yeah. And I was like, you don't even know me. And but he, after a period of time, because we were married 10 months later, and it's lasted 38 years.
Amen.
And so we, I had to have that surgical procedure, and he suggested, why don't we go ahead and get married, and I can put you on my insurance. And I thought, what a novel thing, but you're just trying to get me married. But then I needed the surgery, so we did that. And I told him, I said, well, I really want to have a wedding, So June the 5th of the next year, we had a wedding.
Okay.
So we have two. He has to buy it twice.
Okay. I like
In
when you set
November
that
and
up.
June.
That's good. That's good.
The thing was that even though we were married, his pastor at the time was Bishop Jakes, my pastor. I was in the Nazarene. I'd only been saved 11 months. He'd been saved since he was 19.
All right.
Because I came from there and he had never been there. So I was that person that is like, how do you two get together?
Yeah.
And so we, his story was mostly, walking with the Lord and being saved, the good guy, and I came from the street.
Okay.
And so that brought us to a place where everybody wanted to know, who is she, where did she come from, and how long is she going to be here? That type of thing. And so I stayed 38 years. So here we are, a blended family.
Now you meet this girl in the mall, and 3 weeks later you ask her to marry you. What's going on?
Actually, we met through a mutual friend.
Okay.
She was at her church putting on a function, and she had choirs that started to back out. So a young lady mentioned that I sing, and so she asked me to come and sing. And so when I picked up the phone and she invited me, I thought, ooh, I want to see what this voice sounds like, because she has a wonderful voice. And so I went over there with kind of half bad intentions. I wanted to see, and so then after going to sing for her, and I thought I was going to dazzle her, because I go away and I'll thank her for inviting me. She just ignored me. I thought, but after a while at work, talking to the young lady that had invited us, it told us about us, she said about 3 ladies there that were singing. I said, well, if I was interested in anyone, it'd be the young lady that invited me. And so we started sending those little messages like, till I say hello. And then she said, till I say hello.
Yeah. But first I had
This is long before
I had to
texting.
try to remember what he looked like, because after I invited him, when I got saved, I was totally Jesus. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody, because I had come from such a dark place, and I had dirty love. And I was asking God for a clean love.
Right.
So I was very, very careful.
Right.
So I wasn't impressed that I didn't even know he was trying to dazzle me. I just, thank you for coming, goodbye. And then when the message came that, what he said, I thought, let me go back and see what he looked like. And then for like he said, for about 3 weeks, it was through our mutual friend. Tell him I said hi, tell her I said hi, and we did that. And then our first conversation lasted for 7 hours.
Whoa.
All night long.
We want to unpack that 38 years. We want to hear about that, because we don't want to let that wisdom go away without us hearing about it, right? So we're going to do that. We're also going to talk about you, Gwen, because you have a show on Zandra TV Network.
Yes.
We want to hear about that as well.
Yes. Okay.
Okay? So we're going to do all that. You are watching Winning with Love with Gwen and West Womack and Casper and Cheryl, and we'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Winning with Love with Casper and Cheryl Stockham. And we are back with our guest, the Womacs. The enemy had a plan that lasted you for 19 years. And there are so many people right now today who did not plan. It wasn't their decision or their choice, but through some choices that they made naively, they have been trapped into a world of sex, drugs, alcohol, and they don't know how to get out. Some of them, the enemy has their mind so trapped, they don't know they can get out.
True.
So how do you speak to that?
Well, I think for me, as I said, the Lord spoke to me and said, and if you go back out, and I didn't know it was the Lord then.
Okay.
You know how we say something told me?
Yes.
And if you go back out there, you won't make it out. And it was such a strong impact that I thought, that's it. And I didn't know where I was going from there.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized that through a friend who had already gotten saved, that we used to, party together and so forth. She was now a Christian. And it was her house that I was shot in.
Oh, no.
And she had begged me not to go out there. And it was a previous friend, a girl that shot me.
Oh, my goodness.
Over a set of door keys that she thought I had, that she found later. And so,
oh my goodness.
but as I realized that, from that point, I had to have a starting point. I started, as I said, when I met West, I was working I started out at Burger King, have it your way. Whatever. I was the best drive-through person they ever had. So much so when I was ready to quit, they wouldn't let me go. They would tell people, not give me good references and all that. Yeah, and I was like, no, I got to go. But then the opportunity came for a job at the mall, which to me was like a move up. $4.25 an hour. Okay. I was excited. And then while I was incarcerated, God is so awesome because the Lord they told us at the prison, I was in there with the Manson girls, Charles Manson's girls.
Oh, wow.
And they said we could take a college course. And I was like, okay, college. And I took tennis. Like it's fun. And so when the Lord told me when I was released after doing 11 months, the first time I did 4.5 years, the second time I did 11 months, and the Lord told me, you're going to college. And I was like, yeah, because I dropped out in 8th grade.
Okay.
And going into the 9th, and of course, reform school. And from there, got a GED at Job Corps. And so at that point, I just kept thinking, God, there has to be something better. Not knowing God, but knowing my grandmother's God. And so at that point, I kind of reflected on what I had been taught as a kid. And so when the Lord said, you're going to college, he directed me to all the people to meet and to talk. And I just went and said what he told me to say. And I thought they probably thought I was crazy. Yeah. But I said, the Lord told me to come. And, and you're supposed to help me. Right. And they asked me if I had a transcript. I said, no. They said, have you taken AC? No, I have nothing. And the Lord said, yeah, you do. And I was like, no, I don't. And he said, yeah, you do. And he said, the tennis course. And I was like, oh, I said, well, I took a tennis course before. They said, did you take it through a college? I said, yeah, Concord College. And they said, well, you have a transcript somewhere. And so contact the college. So I never had to take the ACT, SAT, ABCD. Because I don't know if I could have passed it, Right. But God, in his infinite wisdom, I had that transcript. So therefore I was able to get in college. Wow. And so then one day with the singing of as Wes said earlier, the chemical plant that he worked was right next door to the college. And so we met, and I was a Nazarene, and he was at the Temple of Faith. Mm-hmm. And so I was so new. I just wanted God. I didn't want anything but God because I knew where I had come from. Mm-hmm. I knew it was only God that had brought me there. Sure. So sometimes you get in situations where with someone, they would call him square because he was a nice guy. Uh-huh. And I had never had a real nice guy, Right. And so sometimes because of your need, you'll settle for less. Mm-hmm. And I had settled, but then I realized in God, I didn't have to settle. Wow. I knew that God was going to bring me out. I didn't know how, but as I began to read the Bible, not understanding it totally, because you don't always understand.
Right.
But I kept praying, and I knew in my heart what I said and believed was real. So as a result of that, fast forward, I had 2 children, he had 2 children, and I set my children down and I told them, they were 11 and 12. I had a boy and a girl. And my son at the time, who has since gone on to be with the Lord 2 years ago as due to diabetes, he would have been 49 his birthday. He just turned 49. And so I set them down and I said, you're going to leave me one day. And so God has brought somebody, and my son want to know, who's this mystery guy? Yeah. Nobody comes in this house, And so, go ahead.
No, it was almost 3 months before she allowed me to meet her children.
Yeah.
I'd hear them talking in the background and maybe say something to them, but that's another thing. I respected how she handled the whole dating situation. It was so impressive how everything she's talking about now. Imagine telling me that on the first date, or we're starting to, because I thought, so she, she's for real. Most people hide, most people say, different things, and gradually tell you. She gradually told me, but each step was worse than the time before, but she told me. And that the Lord just put in my heart. I thought, okay, she's somebody I can trust.
Amen.
Because if she's gonna do that now, that's somebody I can trust, and that's what you're always looking for.
And it wasn't always easy though, because he's kind of laid back. I'm the aggressor. As you can see, I'm doing all the talking.
Don't worry about it, girl. No shame.
And so I was so used to taking care of myself, doing it my way. I'm a hoarder, but I'm a neat hoarder. I'm a little bit OCD, and I like things in order and neat, and I just like it my way. And he says debate, and because I felt like I'm never wrong, and so he was quiet, and I always wanted, well, say something. If you're aggressive, you want them to respond. Yeah. And he'd have to think, what do you mean think? I'm thinking now. I want you to talk now. And so I had to learn I was not his mother. I was not his mother. If I'm going to be your wife, I have to learn. And he had to learn. He had been married before. I had never been married before. So he had to learn, I need to learn what this marriage thing is, because when you're dating, you can just get up and walk out.
Right.
You can go, bye, get out of my house or whatever. But when you've committed to God, it's a total different thing.
Unfortunately, people who get married now feel the same way. It's it's $250 you can get a divorce type thing, and they jet out. We've only got a couple seconds left. Tell us how they can find you and
about your book.
Say about you.
Well, the Lord put in my spirit when I was in college, I took broadcast communications, and so the Lord told me to write about it. So I did a serial memoir. Which actually is my whole life. It's written in 5 books. And GwenWomack.com or Gwen Collins Womack on Facebook.
And you have a podcast.
No, well, I started one.
You have a show on?
Yes.
What's the show called?
The show is In the Free World Doing Time, and you can find that on Zandra TV Network.
All right, In the Free World Doing Time. We're so glad you guys are with us. We got some other stuff coming up. We've got Love Talk coming up and the game coming up.
Yes.
You are watching
Winning with Love
on Zandra TV Network. We'll see you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, God.
Welcome to Winning with Love. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being at the show. Let us give our contestants a big applause. We have the Vineyards, Joel and Annalie, Ashley and Maurice, the Martins.
All right. Okay, guys, you have the rules to the game. Let's go ahead and get started. Hit that button.
All right, landed on clubs. Clubs is 25 points if you get this question right. Now this is did you know? So you guys can collaborate together on this one. Did you know? The question is, according to the Pew Research Center, the number one reason to get married is, and the answers are companionship, love, financial stability, or commitment. All right. Why are people getting married? The answer is compassion, love, financial stability, or commitment. This is for 25 points. No cheating. All right. Joe and Annalie, what do you have?
Love.
Very good. I'm not going to tell you if that's right.
Okay.
What do you guys have? Love. You both answered correctly. So you got 25 points.
25 points.
Way to go. All right. Joe and Annalie, hit that button.
Ooh,
We're into the hearts. Hearts is 20 points. So if you get this right, it'd be 20 points. And this one you have to answer. Ladies, you're going to start out to write this answer. What is your spouse's favorite hobby? And you can just write it out. There's no hinting on this one.
So there's no options?
Nope, no options. What is your spouse's favorite hobby? Turn away from each other.
What if he has several?
What is your favorite hobby? All right. You ready? Okay. Mr. Maurice, what is your favorite hobby?
Watching football.
Watching football. And Ashley?
But watching movies.
That's not good enough. Sorry. Sorry. All right, Joel, what is your favorite hobby?
Probably watching movies, actually.
Watching movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did they get that?
Annalie, what do you have?
He'd like to do.
Oh,
Gaming.
All
So
right.
you have multiple.
Okay.
that's
All right, next round, Maurice.
we didn't get it.
And Ashley, hit the button. Hearts again.
Hearts again.
Hearts again. 20 points on this. How well do you know your spouse is the category. What is your spouse's most cherished possession? What
This
is the
time the
most-
men will write.
What is your spouse's favorite? Because turn away from each other. What is your turn away? Ashley. What is your spouse's favorite possession? Most cherished possession. All right, getting close. Okay, it's not War and Peace. All right, just turn back around.
All right.
Okay, so Annalie, what is-
Possession.
yes.
My family, my children.
Okay.
I don't see them as a possession. They're what?
Cherished.
Bella or the
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
that sleeps in between us every night, and she carries
Okay.
me where she goes. Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
All
true.
right.
All right. Ashley, what is your favorite possession?
My wedding ring.
Your wedding ring.
I put a frowny face, but I got it right.
All right.
Oh, very good. Very good. That was 20 points.
I thought you said.
All right.
Well, they're our family.
Joe and Annalie, let's hit that button.
All right. Go ahead, speak.
Hearts again.
Hearts.
20 points. How well do you know your spouse?
This time the ladies will write.
Okay.
What is your spouse's favorite book? Turn away from each other. What is your spouse's favorite book? What is your spouse's favorite book? All right. We have answers. Okay,
All
let's
right.
turn. All right. So, Joe, what is your favorite book?
Believe it or not, this is true. It's my wife's Legacy of Love.
Okay.
Your wife's book, Legacy of Love.
Oh,
I think he
Annalie.
has several books, not only my book, but also the Bible.
Oh, the Bible.
Yes,
Good
yes.
answer.
That's a good answer. All right. Maurice, what's your favorite book?
Well, she would have got this one right, but me, the Bible.
Okay.
Bible.
Bible.
And I got it right too.
Very good. Very good. That's 20 points for the Martins. All right. So far, the Martins are pulling ahead. 20 points for the Martins. Okay. Martins, hit the button.
Right.
What is it with these hearts?
Hearts again.
Hearts again. All right. It's worth 20 points.
This time the men will write.
Yes.
How well do you know your spouse is the category. What is your spouse's favorite food? Turn away from each other. Turn away. Turn away. Favorite food. What is your spouse's favorite food?
It's honey.
All right. You ready? Turn back. Favorite food. All right. Ashley, what is your favorite food?
Cauliflower wings.
Cauliflower wings. I would, well, you know, we had dinner last night. I would have guessed that, but I'm just saying, don't turn over yet. Yes, I'm sorry, you can turn it over.
I thought chocolate.
Chocolate.
Okay, that's fair.
Chocolate.
That's fair.
Yes.
Let's see how you got there.
That's fair. All right.
Joel?
No, Annalie.
Annalie, I'm sorry.
I like Mexican and Chinese.
Mexican.
That's a good. That's a winner.
All right. That was
20
21
points.
points.
Okay, this is becoming a competition.
All right, good.
Yes.
All right, Joel and Annalie, hit the button. Spades. All right. Let's see. Spades are over here. 10 points.
Okay.
And we may have to take this. Actually, we're going to take this into a break. So I'm going to ask the question. This is he said, she said. And then we're going to take a quick break. And we're going to be right back with your answers. All right. So the question is, when would your spouse say was the last time you got to play hooky together? And the answers are last week, last month, last year, or never. When is the last time you played hooky together? Last week, last month, last year, or never? We're going to find the answer out when we come back.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let us begin.
Yes.
Question?
And the question before we went to break was, this is that category, he said, she said. And the question is, when would your spouse say was the last time you got to play hooky together? And the answers are last week, last month, last year, or never. So go ahead, turn away from each other. And you have just a few seconds to answer this question. Last week, last month, last year, or never. All right.
All right.
Very good. Let's turn back. All right. So, Mr. Maurice, when's the last time you guys got to play hooky together?
Let's go with last week.
Okay. Ashley?
Never.
Never. Too bad. So sad. All right. Joel, when's the last time you guys got to play hooky together?
Last month.
Last month. Okay.
Oh,
Never.
I think we have a different
Guys,
definition
the
of
wives
cookie.
are saying
I don't know what I don't know what that means. Is it a game or something?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I'm like,
Um,
no.
Who is the button? Is the Martins. Hit the button. Spades. All right. 10 points. 10 points for this one. This is he said, she said again.
Catch.
Question is, what would your spouse say is the most important thing about the finances? This time the guys are writing. What would your spouse say is the most important thing about finances? Budgeting, giving, saving, or buying? Budgeting, giving, saving, or buying? Okay, turn away.
All right.
Let's have a few seconds here.
What's going?
Budgeting, giving, saving, or buying? All right, let's turn back. Annalie, which is more important in finances?
I think it's always depends. Saving.
No. Saving? All right, saving.
Depends on what I'm like. What is it? Giving.
Giving.
Yep.
Budgeting.
Because that's also budgeting.
That's so sad.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
We won
All
it.
right. Yeah, you won that round. But it's only 10 points. But that's all right. You're still in the running. You're still in the running. All right, guys, hit the button. Annalie?
Okay.
Ooh, bronze
Ooh,
membership.
that's good.
Congratulations. You guys have won a I Am Love Builders MVP bronze membership. It's worth $290.
All right.
All right.
We'll write that down. Make sure you got that. All right. Now, you get to spin again because that was a prize.
Oh, all right.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not. I
Ooh.
don't know what that is. It's right on the line. Let's go ahead and spin again because that's too
All right.
close.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, this is a good thing. You won the membership again, but guess what?
Yes.
That's an additional $297 value. So you can give that away later on to someone else as a gift, okay, to another couple, or you can trade it on the stock exchange. Who knows?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, let's spin again. Hearts. All right, hearts. 20 points. How well do you know your spouse is a category. What is your spouse's biggest pet peeve? What is your spouse's biggest pet peeve? Ladies? What is your spouse's biggest pet peeve? Turn away, turn away. Yeah. All right, biggest pet peeve. All right, turn back. Okay, Marius, what is your biggest pet peeve?
Being late.
Being late.
All right. 20
20
points.
points. Actually, you know what? The points should be doubled.
So it's going to be, okay, this was for 40 points.
Yeah.
All
And the other one
right.
was for 10.
Also for 20.
All right, very good. Joe,
When the dogs are barking.
that's your peeve. Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
I put something else.
What'd you
Bees.
put?
Oh, well, that's actually true.
He is allergic to
I looked at
bees,
the bees,
and
so.
yes, that's a problem that he has.
All right.
All right.
All right, very good. Okay, Martin, hit the button.
One more. Huh.
Hearts. All right, this is worth 20 points.
Actually, this time it's going to be worth
40 points, excuse me. The points are doubled. I apologize. How well do you know your spouse is a category. What was the first gift you gave your spouse? This time the guys are writing. What is the first gift you gave your spouse? Turn away, turn away, turn away. First gift you gave your spouse.
Who to who?
While married or before married?
Good question. Spouse.
Okay.
Whatever the first gift was.
For your spouse.
For your
as
spouse.
in probably married. Spouse. Not your fiance, your spouse. Okay, this is a hard one.
Must have been a lot of gift giving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, time is up.
All right.
All right. So, Ashley, what was the first gift that Maurice gave you as your spouse?
Flowers?
Okay, flowers is the answer.
Does this question mark look like a flower? Because I don't know. I got
I didn't know either.
Emily?
Flowers.
Flowers! All right, that's 40 points. You guys are, this is a very close race now. I mean, it's actually, I think the Vineyards are ahead right now. All right.
Right.
Next button is the Vineyards.
Right.
Button. Diamonds. 15 points. No, 30 points, double. 30 points. Love is in the air. All right. When was the last time your spouse would say you showered together? A few days ago, last month, or never? When was the last time your spouse turned away? When was the last time your spouse said you showered together? A few days ago, last month, or never? Okay.
Be ready.
All right. Joe, when's the last time did you say you showered with her?
A few days ago.
Very good. A few days ago.
Oh, all right.
That's 30 points.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Marius,
with those choices, never.
never. Never! That's good and bad. But it's worth 30 points. Hey.
We'll take the points.
All right. Very good. So we'll be right back in just a moment.
Welcome back. We're going to continue our game. Let's see who wins this round.
All right. Very good. So you guys, the points have tripled now. Points are tripled.
Okay.
All right. So Vineyards, hit the button. Spades. All right. What do we have for spades here? 10 points. No, I'm sorry. 40 points. 40 points. He said, she said.
Okay.
How often would your spouse say they show affection? And guys are writing this time. How often would your spouse say they show affection? Every day, a few times a week, last month, or never? Every day, a few times a week, last month, or never? All right. That's an easy one. Okay. Was easy. All right. Ashley.
Every day.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. A few times a week.
Oh.
That's too bad. All right. Emily.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. Woo!
All right. That is 40 points.
40 points.
Very good. All right, Martins, hit the button.
Oh,
That was close. Close.
Good.
a little hip.
All right, it's 20. This is 100 points.
Okay.
Well, so with the 100 points, did you know? Now this is one you guys can collaborate together.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Did you know what percentage of couples report that they don't discuss financial matters before getting married? So what percentage of couples report they don't discuss financial matters before getting married? 30%, 60%, or 80%? 30%, 60%, or 80%? They don't discuss it before getting married. All right.
All right.
What's your answer?
60%.
Okay. What's your answer?
60%.
Okay, you're both wrong.
Oh!
So nobody gets any points this round.
So what is it?
What's the right answer?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. The right answer is 30%.
Oh.
30%.
Dang.
Yeah, that's good actually.
Just thought.
Yeah. Okay. Marcus, hit the button. Ooh, man, that doghouse getting close. Gloves.
Okay.
This is worth 100 points. This is also Did You Know? So you guys can work together on this.
Okay.
According to financial advisors, what is the recommended amount of time to save for emergencies? According to advisors, saving for emergencies, what is the recommended amount of time? 3 to 6 weeks, 3 to 6 months, or 3 to 6 years? 3 to 6 weeks, 3 to 6 months, or 3 to 6 years? Did you know? Okay. Martins, what do you have?
3 to 6 months.
Okay.
Also 3 to 6 months.
You are both correct. 3 to 6 months. All right. Okay. Hit the button, guys.
Oh,
Ooh, getting close to that
Yeah.
doghouse.
Okay.
That would not be a good sign. All right, this is for 100 points again. And this is also Did You Know? So you guys can work on it together. What percentage of couples argue about money at least occasionally, according to survey? Argue about money. And the answers are 40%, 70%, or 90%. 40%, 70%, or 90% argue about money at least occasionally. All right. What are we thinking? Got it? Got it? All right.
Finance.
We think
What do you guys
90%.
have? 90%, okay. And Mark?
It's 40%.
40%. You are both wrong. It's 70%.
I was right. I was right. I was right. I
Always
said
listen to the right.
70.
Yes, yes. Always listen to the right. 70%. All right. So, Martins, hit the button. Ooh, come on. Fortunately for you, you're only going to lose 60 points because it doubles. So 60 points away from the Martins.
Oh.
All right. But you get to spin again. Oh, don't do it again. That's another 60 points.
Okay.
Brutal.
All right.
It's brutal. All right. Spin again. Let's get out of that doghouse.
Yes. No more.
Stay out of the dog.
Oh, close. All right. There you go.
Okay.
All right. It's 100 points. You can get some of those points back. Did you know? This is, you guys have worked together.
Okay.
Did you know? What percentage of marriages cite financial issues as a significant cause of stress? Financial issues as a significant cause of stress. 35%, 49%, or 62%. 35%, 49%, or 62%. Stressful financial situation. Okay, what do you guys have?
We did the high one, 62, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Well, no, that's, what do you guys have?
So I'm a 62.
Okay, you are both wrong.
Oh.
Sorry, 35%.
35.
Yes, 35%. All right, then you just hit the button.
Okay.
Hearts. All right, this is worth 80 points. How well do you know your spouse? And let's see, who's going to be writing this time? I believe the ladies are writing this time. How well do you know your spouse? What is your spouse's favorite movie of all times? What is your spouse's favorite movie of all times? How well do you know your spouse?
Times?
Yes. Turn away, turn away. Favorite movie of all time? All right. Let's turn back. All right, Mr. Marius, what is your favorite movie of all times?
Coming to America.
Oh, Coming to America.
I put the Nutty Professor. It was between the two. You quote them both all the time.
Joe, what's your favorite movie?
Well, it's obscure probably now, but it's Dr. Zhivago.
Dr. Zhivago.
Actually.
Okay.
No, it's Star Wars.
Oh,
You like Star Wars?
Okay.
We're wrong, but I mean, pick one.
All right.
And this is the last round.
Yes.
Okay.
Hearts.
Hearts.
80 points. How well do you know your spouse? What is your spouse's most embarrassing childhood memory? What is your spouse's most embarrassing childhood memory? Okay. Okay. Emily.
I've always been well behaved. I can't remember of anything wrong that I've done, honestly. So I would get pinched.
Okay, well, why
Have
would
something.
you change? Think of something. No answer?
No answer.
Okay,
Oh.
no answer.
Falling down in public. I thought it was a good guess.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Being called Ashy Ash?
Being called Ashy Ash. Okay.
Wrong nickname. Oh, I thought it was calling you Sleigh Bells.
Sleigh bells.
Wrong nickname.
All right. We're going to total up these points right quick. And who is ahead?
The Vineyards.
Thank you. You guys have won a dinner for two.
All right.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, that's a wrap. And we thank you guys for being with us on Winning with Love Relationship Game.